Hi, I'm Herb Lair, and I invite you to subscribe to my podcast. 2024 has been a crazy year. Look for 2025 to be even crazier. I talked to Sidney Moncrief and Dave Woodman, and you can see that we had a fun time reliving his history, and of course you'll be seeing some surprises. I talked about caregivers and the importance of caregivers, and then how Craig O'Neill has worked with books for young people, and there I am meeting a person with Parkinson's, and then my trip out to the marshal's office, and then to the director or chair of neuropathy or neurology. And there's a reflection on soccer. And of course, there you can see, here I am in disguise as a newsman, and visit to Joe Klein and his restaurant. And there's one from the past with Jim Cramer. And you probably wouldn't even recognize Robin Roberts in her days as being a ESPN. And here is Jim Guy Tucker in my days with him in Indonesia. But here again, you see me as Mr. Six, and there my beautician had a wig and made me look like Donald Trump, having fun with a minister, getting him out of his comfort zone, and then here I am at UMS.
Hi, I'm Herb Lair, and I'm inviting you to subscribe to my podcast. On YouTube, it's Finding Your Happy Place, and again with my name, Herb Lair, or if you want to go to Apple Podcasts, you will find it's Finding Your Happy Place Lair. I added Lair to that to make it unique so that when you do a search, you can find it. National plan to end Parkinson Act. A little humor there. I try to use a little bit of Ted Lasso or Jerry Seinfeld or Larry David to kind of add to my podcast. Again, I do have Parkinson's diagnosed in 2016, but previously you'll find that I took tests in 2012 for a different reason, but they should have been able to diagnose it at that time because there were some things that were delusional. I find in my podcast that it's conversational. I usually find people that I identify that we can find out more information about them and the reasons they got into their profession. And so I think you'll find that part interesting and entertaining and hopefully motivational. And I think you'll find that I'm directing this to people suffering from depression, anxiety, and maybe doing some delusional things in their life. So I think you'll see that it's a good time to subscribe so that we can build the audience and get the sponsors and advertisers that we need going into 2025. Well, history may prove that we actually had two people with Parkinson running for president here in 2024. I think either take the battery test that's 4 hours long, or you spend most of a day like I did in 2012. I would be real surprised if they didn't determine that Biden and Trump have Parkinson's. Nothing wrong with that, other than the fact that most people are afraid to say they have it because they kind of get stuck in a separate group of people. It'll be yet to be proven, but when you're delusional and when you make certain statements and do certain things, it's hard to explain. I saw that with a famous football player, and he came to Touchdown Club, and I could see right off that he had Parkinson's. So I wanted to explain that I'm conservative in nature as far as being a businessman, but more recently, as far as my social take with disabilities and having a daughter with disabilities, I'm always concerned with how people with disabilities are treated, and I really haven't seen that in the election of Trump. So whether he proves to be different or proves to be another Nixon is yet to be determined. Okay, you'll see the choice for this is because of all the pictures that were included in this YouTube video. Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Walter Winchell, Joe DiMaggio, Joe McCarthy. Okay, we own a studio acres, and we were big into TV and appliance. I remember Maryland, I remember the Rosenbergs, and I remember the bomb, and other things that were going on in entertainment and in England. Born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, killed himself a bar when he was only 3. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Budapest was very important to our business. Our Big Sale was widely reported as being an unlikely player, and we were highly successful. My visit to the U.S. Marshal Office included a discussion of Little Rock and, at that time, Bill Kidd. American Pie. My over 30 trips to Buenos Aires, I always had to think about the Germans who hid out there, and the culture there was a mixture of German, Italian, Spanish, and your presentations had to be more of a smash mouth, in your face, very direct. That was the expectation. I've been to the book depository where Oswald made the shot. It was only 90 yards, and you looking out at a direct shot. I don't know what all the conspiracy things are all about, but it was pretty obvious. My son was born after the moon landing and right before Woodstock, so he became attorney. Not a surprise. Foreign debts, homeless vets, AIDS crack, burning gets, hypodermics on the shore, China's under martial law, rock and roll and cola wars, I can't take it anymore. We didn't start the fire. Mr. Six, fighting for the right to party. Right now is the time to subscribe to Finding Your Happy Place podcast. YouTube podcasts are video, and the Apple Podcasts or audio. Pick your poison.